Live. I think I tried to go live maybe 2 weeks ago and it wouldn't work. Like it was just a blank screen. And I figured, oh, I can't go live anymore. Okay. And so I pretty much gave up on it. Like the idea of it. I pretty much gave up on the idea of talking to the camera actually. Since I wrote that page, AI Villa Frequency, and I've been updating it and refining it, you know, shortening it, removing stuff that, you know, I think I have a couple more things to remove. So, what's new for me? One thing is that's interesting is, you know, yeah, one thing that's interesting for me is like I saw a video. All right, so about a week ago, I said to myself, you know, AI is not that smart, actually, the one on the computer screen, because I've been using it to write to help. Well, not help me, but I like put my writings into AI and see what it responds, how it responds. And AI has a style of writing which I don't like, which is it says the negative and then says the positive. Like it'll say, the sky is not just blue, it's the bluest sky on earth, you know, or, you know, that thing, right? Where it says the negative and then says the positive. Another thing AI does, it likes to use multiple descriptions of a thing. Like it goes description, comma, description, comma, description. It likes to list. And I'm like, nah, that's not necessary. It drags things out basically. Like I have my writing and I put it into AI and then AI gives me back a response to like say the same thing that I'm saying, but it says it with many more words and it's not adding anything. It's just dragging it out basically. And it does it the same way every time. You know, especially the thing where it goes, it's not just this, or you know, it's not this. Well, it's this. You know, like damn, dog, like can't anyone recognize that it's just like a repeat? Well, I guess they can't fix that, right? Because it is what it is. Nobody knows how it works. But then from doing that, I'm like, if I told it not to do that, would it still do it? And I didn't feel like doing that. I didn't feel like telling it, don't do the negative before the positive thing in your statements. I think it would break if I told it that because it's so. Anyway, so, but then I saw a video today of a guy who's a writer. He's a writer, he writes books. And he says he's gonna stop using AI because it's dumb. It doesn't know how to, it's stupid. It's good for getting information, but it's not creative in any kind of way as far as writing goes, or whatever it does, it doesn't improve. You know, its creativity doesn't improve. As far as writing goes, right? Perhaps with, I've seen improvements in video, like amazing. So I think AI is probably good, definitely good for that, like video production, right? Not music. You know what? When AI music comes on, I can detect it within seconds, dog. I don't know how or why. It's not like, it's just, there's something about, like, there's missing, something's missing, like, I think it's too perfect. The AI music is too perfect, and my mind can pick that up immediately for some reason. But you see, digital music is kind of like that, but it's not, you know? I think at some point, analog music will come back, like, you know, playing instruments and putting stuff on vinyl, you know, and even the old, even like the music equipment from like the 70s and 80s, like the ways that those were made, like whatever components they used to make those equipment would come back somehow because of the fullness of the sound. Like the analog sound is so much fulfilling to experience than digital. I mean, digital is pretty good. It's good for having an abundance of music. But as far as music with impact, you know, I guess it's quality over quantity. As far as like high quality, impactful music, we're talking about music that was created in the 70s and 80s, you know, maybe 90s, you know, but I think after 2006, nah, it was all digital after that. And it's good for an abundance, but as far as like feeling and frequency, it's not that good. It's not that good. And AI music is the worst, actually. It is the worst, man. Video though, so the only thing that impressed me with AI so far is video. And perhaps maybe coding, but I'm not sure because, you know, I'm not sure about that, about coding. Because I'm not, you know, yeah, we'll see. I'm also looking forward to when robots improve. Like, I think that's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to see how that works out. Yeah. So now, what else? There's a guest at the villa tomorrow would be their 28th day, 4 weeks. They started out with 2 weeks, then they extended to 3 weeks, and then they extended to 4 weeks. They're building a house, and the way they're doing it is pretty much not the correct way to do it, right? It's the way that it's the way that you would do it if you didn't know better. If you didn't know any better, this is the way you would end up doing it. Whereas you pay the workers daily, right? You're paying them daily, like, so that's crazy, you know, because that means they have no incentive to finish the job. They want to keep it going. They want to extend it because if they finish the job, then they're not getting their daily pay anymore, right? Whereas my method which is you deal with one mason. You say, I want to build XYZ, how much to build this? And you're going to, you know, not only do they pay the workers daily, they cook for them. So they have to pay them daily and provide food for them daily, every day, like when they work. So how is that going to end? It doesn't. They don't want it to end, right? The workers are going to drag that out as much as possible, which is why they went from 2 weeks to 4 weeks staying at the villa. And the house is still not done. It was supposed to be done like maybe a week ago. I probably got another month or so. I told them, look, once you leave and you go back to Florida, you being gone, them wanting you to come back means they're gonna finish the house, because it's like I kind of see it like that, you know. Yeah, that's what it is, you know, because like basically him not being here means perhaps the money slows down, right? And if you want, I don't know. It's not my business actually. But the thing is though, they're here, and you know, the guy, he's from Florida. He likes to walk. He likes to. All right, so when you leave the villa, you have choice. You can go this way, which is to the nature, and you won't see anyone. Right? It's just nature, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing. It's very spiritual. It's very life impact changing. Like it's like amazing to go into the nature, right? And so many guests that have come here, that's what they come here for. Like they come here, they get in the villa, and they go off into the nature, and they are loving it. The current guests, who's been here for 28 days, have no interest. There actually a lot of interest is to go into the community and talk with the people and make friends and hang out at the bar. And he's like, I'm into people, because I had a conversation with him. I said, have you been this way yet? And he's like, no. I'll probably, but I like people. I like to go out. He went to church, you know, so he's very into people. He likes to talk to people and communicate and all of that, right? Whereas someone who's here for nature is not like that. They want to just be away from people, and be alone and all that. So my thing is that now it is amazing and it's good that someone like that is here, because that's unexpected, and they're here for so long. So someone who they love nature, but not enough to go off alone into it for a long time or whatever. Like if the choice is nature or over there to people, they're gonna go to people, right? So I look at that as like a slingshot, right? And they've been here 28 days, which is the longest. and they haven't been. It's been great. It's been great. They do their thing. We're not, you know, they're not contacting me for anything. I mean, I don't mind, of course, but the fact is that they're doing their thing, and they're not in my way in any kind of way, and they're not. It's been great as far as my experience of it. So I look at it as far as like this type of person is someone that's like a slingshot being pulled back, and when they leave, you know, at some point that shit goes right, because so I'm gonna see, you know, I'm gonna see how that goes. One of the nights since the hurricane, I haven't been into the bush except for one night, maybe 10 days ago, where I got up at 1 a.m. I felt sick, and I figured, okay, I'm gonna go off. I grabbed a flashlight and I went off for 3 hours at night in the bush. Never done that before. And so, you know, this is me now balancing out. Yeah, pretty much. All right, balancing out. Oh man, that's wild. And that's just a little bit of, that's just like that's me. Oh wow, that's wild. Okay, so that's nice. I can visualize what I'm saying right now, but I don't really want to like explain it, you know, because the visuals is too good. So what inspired me to turn on the live? The reason I turned on the live, because everything I said up to now is not reason enough to turn on the live, but the reason I did turn on the live stream is this, right? I was on YouTube today, and you know, when you're on the homepage, you just browse, like you can just put your mouse over the video and it plays it. You don't have to like click on it, you just plays it. So I'm doing that where I have all these videos on my YouTube homepage, and I'm not scrolling, but I go over this video, and the way the girl's talking, I was like, oh, she sounds interesting. She sounds close to me. She sounds interesting enough for me to click on her channel ID, right? And I go click on her channel ID, and I see, and I click on her most recent video, because I see that she has a channel, successful. I would call it successful. She has like lots of subscribers, and she's all in. She's like a actual influencer, right? She's an influencer, so which means she has a lot of following. She's on many platforms, and her videos get tons of views, right? So I watched the latest video, and within the first 30 seconds of the video, she's saying, reality, you have to think of it like it's a holodeck. Now, this is the second time in the past 2 weeks that I've heard someone who's an influencer, who has a lot of influence, use that word to describe reality. And I had never seen that before, right? Like, I've never heard anyone say that before. I've heard like holographic, you know, I've heard holographic, I've heard close to it, but holodeck, I haven't heard holodeck, because holodeck is like a very niche word, you know. It's like Star Trek. If you didn't watch Star Trek, you really wouldn't know that word, right? So like Gen X would know that word, you know. And this girl, I mean, she looks young, but she could be Gen X, right? So I was like, okay, that's the second time. And this girl has a lot of following. Now, this video has 10K views on it and 2 point something K likes. Now, you know, the word holodeck is something I've been reading for the last 2 months a lot, because I've written, that's the first thing I write about AmeriCA, you know, America being a holodeck, Jamaica being the main deck, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, blah, blah. It's an amazing thing, but it's not. I'm not going to try and disrespect it by saying blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, maybe I feel this way about blah, blah, blah now because I'm hearing someone else say it actually for the second time. And this is what happens when I go through that, right? The third time it happens, it means it's like a program that's running now, and there's no way to dial it back. There's no dial back. There's no, for instance, the idea of AI, right? I was talking about what's going on right now as far as AI. I was talking about that years ago. And it seemed like I was the only one, me and just a few others, like talking about, and then these few others were like people who were, you know, physicists and computer nerds and stuff, like a very, very, very niche thing, right? For people who say AI is coming, or, you know, like to say that AI is coming and change the world years ago, many years ago, like 10 years ago, let's say, it's me and like 5 other motherfuckers, right? But I'm like, really in, like, I'm saying it like it's a real thing, you know. I remember sitting in a room with a government agent who was questioning me about something that happened. And this is before AI was a thing. And he said, man, give me your honest answer, man. Who do you think is really in charge of this thing? I said, well, I think it's AI. And he looked at me and he understood what I said, even though AI wasn't a thing. And he actually wrote it down. And I was like, oh, this nigga wrote that down? What? Does that mean you're giving, to write it down says that there's some kind of credit he's going to give. And at some point, after interviewing me for a couple of hours, anyway, so, but the thing is, right, it got to a point where once enough people started saying it and it started becoming a reality, this is when I choose to step away and say, oh no, it's really coming now. And I don't want to be here talking about it because as far as the changes that are supposed to happen, if you're out here, if you want to be, I would say that AI could potentially impact a lot of people's lives in a negative way. And so I don't want to be someone out here saying AI is great when there's people having a negative, because they're going to look at me like they should hate on me. Like, don't hate on me, right? So once AI got to the point of no return, let's say with ChatGPT, like after ChatGPT came out, and I saw how the reaction, and I was like, okay, I need to back off of this, right? I'm not about this no more because I don't want to be in a circle with hate on the internet, on the internet. So then I started, okay, well, I can't really back away from it, but I can step into a natural version, which is the natural AI, because that's more like what I'm all about, right now. So, and that's what the aeye.villas frequency is all about, the natural AI. And as far as what the mechanical AI is, where I say it's a holodeck, right? So I have upgraded AI to it being a holodeck that runs for the natural AI. So, and the thing is, you can say simulation theory and not go anywhere with that. You can say it's an illusion and not go anywhere with that. That's not going to get you anywhere. As long as you're being fearful of the thing, then you're not going to go in. You're just stuck on the bottom of the pyramid. You can't climb the pyramid by saying words like simulation or illusion. Right? It means you're just you're being stepped on, basically, by looking at it, by looking up and, you're just being stepped on by someone who's saying holodeck or reflection, right? But so once a lot of people, yeah, you know what? I came up with a new definition for people. Not a new one, but I even added it today. Today I updated the aeye.villas thing, right? Because for maybe 5 years ago, I came up with this because, my girlfriend would talk to me, right? And she'd always use the word people. And I'm like, I'm tired of hearing that word, though. There's something wrong with that word people. It's like, it's all about me and you. It's all about me or you, right? Talk about yourself or me and I'm interested. But once you start saying people and saying it with impact, like you care, it's like, oh no, don't use that. Don't use that word around me in that way. And so this is years ago, right? So I was like, okay, what is that word really? Why do I feel this way about this word? And I said, people. And I said, okay, people, it means that's a penis and that sperm comes out, but only one sperm makes it. So really people now, for me, meant singular sperm. And when I hear people, it's like, okay, it's not, no, it doesn't have an impact, no matter how hard you try, because people are the sperm that didn't make it. But up until maybe a week ago, I had I hadn't reached a new point of view for these people or the sperm that didn't make it. And so 2 weeks ago, I reached a new point of view, and today I added it to the aeye.villas frequency to say that people are the reflection, right, of sperm that didn't make it. So it's not like the sperm that didn't make it got deleted or disappeared. It didn't. They still exist as people, So when I I don't know if I'm out. I'm gonna accept the story of science says I was in the womb. As far as how did my human body get created? Now, as far as myself, You call it a spirit or soul. Self is something I would say is spawned every day when I wake up. Spawned when I wake up every day. As far as my human body, my physical body, the story of me being a sperm and then finding the egg and becoming a baby, and then the sperm didn't make it. Up until 2 weeks ago, I just had that was just didn't make it. They were deleted, they were gone, they didn't exist. But now I'm saying they do exist. Actually, they still exist as people in the world. So it's not like the sperm entered a new world, but it didn't leave anything behind. You're still inside. It's like I look at this world as I'm still inside the womb and I'm still surrounded by other sperm and those other people. Right? That's beautiful, right? Because it just accounts. I'm being accountable. I'm accounting for everything, and there's no waste. Right? It's like there's no waste with that. So to like say the sperm that didn't make it and think of it as, oh, it's gone now and they don't exist anymore. No, that's actually wasteful. It's better just to say, no, they are still here, right? But they are people, as far as imaginary, basically, right? Or I could experience them if that's what I want to do. Like if I was famous and on stage as an artist of some sort, and there's millions of people. Is that too much? 20,000, let's say, or whatever the max is, whatever the max amount of people that can watch a single show. That's the sperm that didn't make it. So I'm standing on the stage and I'm looking around me and I'm seeing 100,000 spectators looking at me on stage. Now this is not, this is like imaginary story right now, right? I'm not looking forward to anything like that, right? But when I look around me, I say, oh, these are all the sperm that didn't make it. You see what I'm saying? That's beautiful, right? Yeah, man. That's amazing, actually. That's so efficient. It's not wasteful. Yeah, so holodeck is amazing, right? It's amazing because you really take responsibility. But then again, it's so niche though. So let me think about that. Yeah, because I haven't seen a holodeck in any other show other than Star Trek, right? Star Trek is the only show, and it's not even all Star Trek. It's after a certain Star Trek. I think Deep Space was it Next Generation. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Wow, The Next Generation is where the holodeck first showed up, and after that they had it. It's been part of almost all the movies and shows of Star Trek after that, the holodeck. And so, yeah, I guess it's not going to be hard for everyone to adopt or update themselves. If someone who doesn't have any idea what a holodeck is, it'll take them 5 minutes to watch a video and figure it out. And it's kind of like sad in a way because you didn't get the experience of watching it on Star Trek when they came up with it, right? And be entertained and be all into it. And then end up in a reality where, oh, that's what this is? Oh my goodness, oh, that's cool. And I can say that's what this is by myself. And it's like, it's only for me, right? So I can walk around like a superior being, right? It's knowing that it's a holodeck. But once there's a lot more others who are saying it and into it, like the video today that had 10,000 views, and all right, so out of the 10,000 views, there was 2-point-something thousand likes. So let's just say 5,000 of the viewers, right, of the 10K viewers, at least 5,000 of them agree and are step into a reality where they agree and accept that they're inside a holodeck. And so me seeing this video is me transferring my way of being into the screen for the sperm that didn't make it to tag along. Wow. Tag along, baby. Hey, come on, guys. Let's go over here. There's a holodeck. We can't turn back though, once you go in. That's one thing about Star Trek, that you can go in the holodeck and then, okay, program, stop. My son did that one time. That's wild. I don't know. I don't really have an interest. See, because the thing is like this, right? I like the idea of it being a holodeck because I don't have any, like, that's the best version of it that I can come up with, right? Like, yeah, yeah, actually, yeah. That is the limit of my ability to perceive, is to say it's a holodeck, because then, like, that means all the rules are on me, and there aren't any rules actually. I think the rules are what I believe, because in a sense, a holodeck doesn't being a good being. I mean, being good or bad is not really important. It's all about how do I feel, right? Um, right. So that's crazy. That's crazy, dog. Because like, I could do something as long as I don't feel guilty. I can get away with it. And when I say get away with it, it sounds like guilt, right? But I'm not looking at it that way. I'm like, there's no real limit of what, like, it's all about what do I feel. If I feel like doing something, but only good things feel good to me. So then I would say this: the fact that I didn't know it was a holodeck at some point, and I was concerned about being a good person, means I was trained to the point where I guess if I'm not trained enough to be a good person, then I'm not able to recognize it as a holodeck. Because I mean, there is pain. Pain does exist, right? And so to avoid physical pain, it's necessary to be a good person. Yeah. Yeah, because if if I get drunk and drive and crash into a tree, that hurts. If I crash into another car, well, that's the thing, is a holodeck, it doesn't matter. I mean, what matters is me, right? It doesn't matter if I crash into someone, because that person doesn't really exist, right? But if I get hurt, that's a problem. That's wild. I guess that's why I could be scary, because, yeah, wow, that's amazing. Yo, listen, man, that's crazy. Yeah, man, hey, I see how that works. Sometimes, right, when I'm operating on a very bright light and I'm feeling really good and there's someone else there with me, and they look at me and they're terrified. Like, they're super terrified. Like, oh my God, what am I looking at? Like, what I'm thinking, what are you looking at? You're looking at a reptile? You're looking at a reptile? It's like they're looking at me like I'm some kind of reptile. And I'm just I'm just amazing and delighted about, oh, this is amazing. And they're looking at me like I'm a reptile. And they're scared, they're terrified. And I think that comes from me looking at someone and not considering them as important in any kind of way. Like, if they're just light. And so if they're looking to gather some kind of emotional connection with me or something like that, it's like, and they're not getting it, then they're seeing the opposite of what I'm feeling like. Oh, that's crazy, because I'm feeling like an amazing, like being, like, oh, life is amazing. Yo, this shit is dope. Forget about money. Yo, what's coming next? And they're looking at me, they're like, forget about money. This thing is crazy. Like, not even crazy, just like they're terrified of what they're seeing. And that's because, in my eyes, they're just another sperm that didn't make it. Like, you didn't make it, so, you don't matter. That's crazy. But it's not like you're going to get deleted. Because the fact that you didn't make it and you're still here means you're always going to be here. You're always going to be some version of something in my reality to represent that there's, people. Unless I somehow forget how birth. Yeah, so, all right. If I think about, people is only relevant to the story of my physical body coming into being. But as far as me, my spirit, you would say, or my soul, or my ability to think, my ethereal self, it's just me. Like, there isn't any other ethereal. It's just one ethereal, one self, right? Yeah. What's the out of many one people? That's the Jamaican motto. Let's look at that. Out of many one people. Yeah, out of many, one people. That statement accounts for everything, right? Yeah, it accounts for everything because it does account for being one, and it does account for the people. So that's nice. It's a nice place to be. Man, wow, like I feel like as far as being free, the level of freedom I experience, meaning that I'm doing what I want to do, and no one is going to tell me anything else as far as what I like. What I like, you can't tell me something else like, and I'm supposed to like that more than what I like. Like, there's nothing anyone can say. That means that I'm the most free person. Like, I'm so free to the point where I'm just doing what I want to do, to what I feel like doing. Like I feel like I enjoy the farming more than anything else right now. If you're gonna give me a choice, well, I wouldn't. I would choose an orgy, not with other, like with only women though. I would choose that over farming, but is that realistic? I don't know. I mean, it probably is actually. So it would have to fall into place. So, but there's hardly anything. Like, there's no, if you're gonna give me a choice of going somewhere, it doesn't matter where you're gonna, or go farming, I'm gonna go farming because I'm free to do that. I'm free to choose farming over anything else because that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And the only other thing I can think of I would choose over farming is an orgy with women, right? Women, right? Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many actually, as many as I can handle, for as long as possible. See, I got to program it if it's in case it's gonna happen. I'm running out of time, but we'll see. No, actually, I'm not running out of time. I'll leave that alone for a minute though. Yeah. It doesn't have to be an orgy. Even with one nice, beautiful one woman, even if it's just one woman, I think I would choose that over farming. So I guess intimacy, sexual intimacy, is the only thing that I can think of that's better than farming. For sure, for sure, man. It's probably the best thing I could possibly do on earth is sexual intimacy. I think so. Yeah, I mean, it is the height of physical feeling, right? Like my body, as far as how my body feels and what I'm experiencing during that. That's like the best thing I can do with my body, man. And if it's not that, it's farming. Farming, right? Not going somewhere, not getting in a vehicle. Like, come on, man. No, I'm not getting in a vehicle. I'm not getting in a car. Like, it's like the worst thing I can do is getting a car, get inside a vehicle and go somewhere. Like, come on, man. That's torture. Bicycle is fun. Walking is cool. Getting inside the car, oh man, I feel like torture. Or a plane, any type of thing. Unless it's a spaceship, well, it doesn't exist. I mean, it could, right? Yeah, I would only be excited as far as traveling goes. I would only be excited if it was a small, like I have a light this spaceship now, but it's like everything. Everything is light. I'm inside a light this spaceship, but let's say spaceships have smaller spaceships, right? That like smaller ones, like tiny ones for like 3 people, right? That go out. I wouldn't mind one of those. Like a light disc spaceship that can fly around inside, inside the main spaceship, fly around from the main deck to the holodeck. Yo, that's wild. Yeah, I can eventually create that though. That's beautiful because it isn't physics that creates that, it's perception, right? And I've had that perception for so long, meaning that it's somewhere in my future. It's most likely going to be like attached to my body somehow. Really interesting. Like it probably would be like a biological manifestation. Like my body evolves. You know, like a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. Like this stage of my human body could be like a caterpillar. And I could evolve into being something like a butterfly, which is like this spaceship or some sort, you know. Whereas I would be this ship, but I could still, the body would be something I can experience as a tool, you know. That'd be nice, man. So it's like a flip side. So instead of my body being inside the hologram, I become the hologram and I can manifest a body, anybody. Oh, that's pretty dope, actually. Not manifest, but I can experience a body. So the body now becomes a tool, and so I could be me, or I can be anyone, actually. That's new. I never thought of that before. You know, because like once I remove physics, right, and say, okay, if it's perception, then I could, yeah. Yeah, it's perception. It's not about physics. Physics is like saying, it's like the bird that asks itself, how can I fly? You know, and fly out of the sky. But once you stop asking those questions, it's not about the physics. It's about, what do I perceive to be free? You know what I mean? That's sweet. And so first you perceive it, and to experience it is the ability to accept it and flow. You know, yeah, interesting. That'd be cool though, because then the whole idea that the sperm that didn't make it actually did make it as people, right? That means now the next version could be that instead of me being a person, I become whatever this is. I become the hologram, right? I am the hologram. And now as the hologram, I choose to be any person. And from the any person that's a part of the people. Right? So basically I could choose to be any person I want to be. That's be sweet. And I think that already exists in a sense, whereas the idea of being possessed, you know, like a person who says, I mean, it's kind of like an old idea, but there's a positive version of possession, right? Whereas like someone who is not possessed in a negative way, but possessed in a positive way. Like there's been others who said to me that it seems like I'm possessed by some type of being, right? Some type of being that just came along and took over my life, but in a positive way, because I'm all about concerned about being a good person, right, and doing the right thing. So I'm not about doing the wrong thing because I don't want to feel pain, right? So the more I can be good and do the right thing is the more joy I experience. So, and that's like, if I'm possessed by something, for me to do it, like I have an overseer that's playing me as an avatar, right? So this means like at some point I become the overseer who can play avatars. I'm already playing these avatars. I just don't have the connection to perceive myself as them. Yeah, it's like a video game, whereas avatars are running And it's just about me being able to step into that body. I need the right perception. I need the right perception. Yeah, it's all perception, man. That'd be amazing. That's truly like from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Because then that would be, if I had a wish, right? If I had a wish, that would be a cool wish to do. Like, I don't know though, because like, not for a short period of time. Because like, yeah, actually, yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, instead of watching porn, I could just do it. You know, as any person. Fucking dope. You know, I look at other things like things that are, I think about what's amazing to do with the human body. Like, I am impressed by people who flip motorcycles or bicycle riders who ride on mountains and they're riding really fast and flipping and jumping and all that. I think about, man, it must be feel so good to do that, you know. But then the amount of risk involved as far as getting hurt is like saying, I mean, for sure, if I'm gonna get to the point of flipping in a bicycle on a mountain, you know, and I'm confident and I'm having fun with it, I think pretty much I would have to get hurt a lot of times in order to reach that point. Whereas sex, there's no pain. Like, you don't have to get hurt to reach any, I mean, it's like something you can do that's just like, there's no risk basically. There's no pathway to pain basically, unless, you know, of course there's diseases and stuff, but you know, I haven't really had much, I haven't had experience with that. So I mean, yeah. So I think about like, if it is that I could spawn into someone who can ride a bicycle and flip it, I probably won't, because I don't want to make, I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are as a professional bicycle rider or a motorcycle rider. It doesn't matter how good you are. Something could go wrong, and that's a lot of pain, right? Whereas sex, nah, I mean, it's the risk is just not there, right? It's not there. And when I started to think of what are other things that are fun to do, I mean, I guess being in a nice place with a nice view, that's easy enough, and that's a lot of pleasure. Like to be in a nice villa somewhere on, you know, when there's an amazing view when the sun sets or the sun rises, and it's like everything is so nice and pristine, and eating really good food, and 100-year-old wine, you know. So that's like a nice way of life, right? And so even like ketamine or something like that, you know, on top, you know, I don't think there's not much risk there. So as I don't overdo it, right? So stuff that I used to do, basically, all the things that I did when I was living that life, I did stuff that was the most risky thing I did was bicycle ride. You know, for long distances, you know, on the highway and shit like that, right? That's the riskiest thing I did. But I felt so comfortable and safe doing it. I mean, not flipping the bicycle, I'm just riding straight, right? On the sidewalk, on the side. And there's times where I'm riding on the road and there's cars flying by me and I'm thinking about, man, this is risky. But I did it anyway, you know? Yeah. I guess once you're on the bicycle, it's just like, whatever, I'm already here, whatever. You know, it's like, whatever. You know? Yeah, I like this stream because I feel like I'm talking myself back to sleep. You know, because I feel like, okay, I can go back to sleep now. That's sweet. So, the reason I turned on the camera was last week I was watching a video and I heard someone who has a lot of influence, an influencer, use the word holodeck. And I was like, okay, I guess that's okay. But still though, I've been using that word for the last 2 months, right? I came up with that perception a very long time ago, but as far as me using it over and over again, it's within the last month, within the last 2 weeks, because the aeye.villas frequency page came into being 3 weeks ago. No, a month ago, actually. Yeah, a month ago, because I wrote it for the guest that's here now, so they've been here a month. So for the last month, every single day, I've been reading this word, holodeck, as far as me paying attention to the aeye.villas frequency page and updating it and refining it, and to the point where I'm really got it. There's a couple things I'm going to remove, because I read it and I don't like where certain parts of it sound too much like AI. Even though it sounds good, I'm like, damn, I don't want it to sound like AI though, because I don't like AI like that. I think it's stupid. But then last week I hear someone, so I'm paying attention to this word for like the last month, right? And last week I hear an influencer use it. And that's okay, but today again, that's the second time. And this motherfucker has 10K views and 2,000, so 5,000 people. Yeah, I can use that word. Yeah, so now I can use that word now, because it's not like they didn't make it. They made it. They made it as reflections of the sperm that didn't make it, right? That's what I said I said, people are the reflection of the sperm that didn't make it, basically. It's just like another version of life. Because it's like saying, I don't remember being a sperm. Of course not, right? But that's the story that's being told. It's like, if I ask my reflection, what's the story of where I came from? Well, you started out as a sperm, and there were other sperms, and you guys had a race, with a sexual thing. It had my dad and my mom had sex, that's the thing that brought me to the point of having a race. And then the other sperm didn't make it, but now I'm seeing them as a reflection of people in this world. So it's just like saying, I don't remember being a sperm, but if I was, what happened was my reality changed from that version to this version. Where I'm still a sperm, and now the sperm that didn't make it as sperm are people, right? Yeah. And it's a holodeck. Yeah, the word holodeck it makes you be responsible, right? Because if it's just a program that's running based on how you feel and what you say, what you think, all right, how's it go? What I think leads to how I feel and what I say. It's that order. I think it, I feel it, I say it. And then I experience it, right? So it's like a holodeck. If you reverse engineer it, whatever it is that I experience is based on what I said, and what I said is based on how I felt, and what I felt is based on how I think. And now I'm standing here in a holodeck. Oh, it's a holodeck. All right. So now, if I'm going to experience this thing, the way I could, right, then adjust how I think. All right. And for one thing, the first thing to adjust is to say that people actually are not, it's just me. I'm all alone in this thing. These people aren't real. It's hard. Hey man, it's true. It's true. It's just basically true. And I think, and the only thing I should be concerned with is physical pain. So don't say or do things that could lead to physical pain. And that means I should be a good person and be joyful because and do the things that make me joyful. Like, so if I feel joyful about farming, then do that. You know, if I feel about sexual intercourse, do that. If I feel joyful about cooking or anything, or just sitting down and talking to the camera, or anything I'm doing, as long as I feel good about it, then I'll have a wonderful time. I'll have a great life. And it's okay to get upset or angry, but don't get lost in that, right? I would say upset or angry is good for no more than 60 seconds. And then laugh and be like, oh, wait a minute. Wow, wait a minute, check myself. You know, that's like the best song. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, cause I'm for your health. I come real stealth, dropping on your but real, yeah, you gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself. Oh man. That's the only song in the Bible. If I had a Bible, you know, I have a Bible. I made this joke. And there's only one word in the Bible. Now. But if I'm going to add another page, right? So there's a Bible, there's one page and there's one word now. But if I'm going to add a second page, I think that check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's what I'll put on that page. So now the Bible has 2 pages. The first page says now. And being now, the only thing I need to do is check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I can get angry and I can get upset. But if I don't check myself, if I overreact, I can get hurt, you know? I can end up in a lot of pain. You know what I mean? So then, just don't do that. Just don't do that. You know, don't do that. Don't go there. Feel it. Like, it's hard to, like, not be... Like, because anger is like an emotion that exists, right? So you'd be an insane person to say you don't get angry or can't get angry. That's insane. I mean, that's just part of life. So it's all about being able to manage it, you know, and check yourself before you wreck yourself, whatever it is, anger, whatever negative emotion it is, you know, anger, possessiveness, what are some good ones? Anger is like possessiveness, disrespect, you know what I mean? Disrespect is a really crazy one because I think that's the first one that I would react to. Like, I don't like being disrespected, especially in my physical reality. Like, come on, yo, are you serious, right? Like, yeah, come on, yo. Like, and then it's all about, I gotta check myself before I overreact. I'm saying check myself. And I think the avoidance of physical pain is where I go, okay, you know what? Nah, this ain't, nah. And I guess, do I smile? Is that what it is? Like, so I guess now, if my reflection expects me to be angry or upset or sad or whatever negative feeling, and I just turn out smiling, like, oh, come on, man, I probably look like a reptile at that point, to that person, right? Yeah, man, like, what are you smiling about? Damn, I was like, you know, yeah, you can't even see my smile. You're seeing straight evil. Like, come on, because you're caught up in your emotions. Why am I using that word? Your. I guess that's relevant if there is someone standing in front of me. Yeah, the word you or your is relevant if the person is in my reality. It's like right there, right there in my life. But if they're on the screen now, that's a waste. That's a waste. That word doesn't. Just like the word we, us, they. What about they? No, there is no they. Yes, there is. So if I'm standing here, there's a group of people over there, and I say, though they, that's relevant. The word, because so like the word is relevant in that sense, right? So within physical experience, these words are true. The words like us, they, them, we, you. Us, they, them, we, you. Oh man, us, they, them, we, you. I never said it in that. That sounds like a you know, like A-E-I-O-U. Us, you know what I mean? It's just like us, they, them, we, you. It just sounds like that's the way it's supposed to say it. All those words are relevant in physical experience. Right? They're totally irrelevant on the screen as far as imaginary. You know, if I have to imagine who we are, then we ain't, my nigga. You have to be with me in my physical reality for me to say we, and it's true and it's relevant. Or us. or you. You know what I mean? It's not relevant if you're not here standing in front of me. You know what I mean? I am equals space time. I is me, is everything I can physically see. Right? Physically see. That's I. Am is now. And I think am is more relevant as to say me thinking. So me seeing is more relevant to say I. Because it is I, the word I. So seeing is I, and am is now. And the thing about now is, right, I can see my reality and not know what it is. I can see something over there and I have no idea what that is. I don't have a definition for it. It's something. But as far as, and that's I, right? That's I. But as far as am, I have to know what that means, right? Like I have to know what the word am means to even say the word. Like even the word now. I have to have a definition of the word now to say it and know what that is. So am, meaning now, is my ability to perceive. Like it's my ability to think. It's me. It's like, yeah, it's the ethereal self, existing in the present moment is am. So space is what I can see. You know what I mean? And my body and everything around me. That's space. Space. And time is now, right? So I am is space-time, right? So I am equals space-time, and it's fueled by narrative, right? So the narrative is, what's the story being told here? It's a holodeck, okay. Jamaica main deck, okay. Aeye.villas, that's the narrative, right? And so space-time, I am, plus narrative, plus the story, equals the frequency. And the frequency is what I experience. And that's the technology I'm on right now, So when I say holodeck, that's the breakdown of how the holodeck works, basically, So that's the technology I'm dealing with. And it is a technology because I can say it and perceive it and work with it like a technology, like an iPhone, And then the word holodeck is what brings this into being. So once someone says it's a holodeck, and you're going to take responsibility it means you're going to take responsibility, right? Because like, if you say it's a holodeck, but it's someone else running the show, like, no, that's not how it goes, though. It's a holodeck that's ran by me and my emotions and the words that I say, my narrative. And so that's sweet, And it's like, once I start disconnecting from the idea of people being a big deal, all right? So, yeah, it's interesting, like, there's supposedly these world war going on right now, and I haven't seen anything on my social media about war, not even a single thing. And, yeah, so that's wild because it is going on, right? I guess, I'm not hearing that it's not going on. Even the government shut down and the airports, I came up with a quote because I said that the whole idea of the TSA, they can get rid of that by saying no carry-on. Like, they should make a rule that no carry-on luggage. Like, you can't carry on. The only thing you can go on the plane with is your clothes, not even phone. You can't bring your phone or nothing, just clothes. So the only thing that you can get on the plane with is clothes, and everything else has to be, I would say, possibly shipped on a different plane, right? That'd be crazy. No, I don't know about all that, but like, it would be cool that you could even, would that be cool? I don't know about that. What if you couldn't travel with luggage? Like, you had to travel with no luggage at all, like just your clothes, and you can do luggage, but I don't know, man. I mean, I think people owning things is just like stupid. But I don't know. That's too far. That's too far to go. But I would just say no carry on, right? But I mean, it would be cool with no luggage, right? Like if there's got to be a way, right? You travel with. So I'm just saying you can get rid of TSA because if you're just getting on a plane with clothes, you just walk through a machine, and the machine can just, it didn't X-ray, so then that's it. You don't have to check no bags or nothing like that. So I'm saying in the future, there shouldn't, or there could be a future whereas for you to travel on a plane, you can't have any carry-on, no phones. I said to someone today that, back in the day, in the past, when you could smoke anywhere, you could smoke cigarettes in the building, and it came to a point where you couldn't smoke cigarettes in the building anymore. And it's rare that you see someone smoking. If you see someone smoke a cigarette, they're outside somewhere, right? So I was like, it would be cool that if that turns out to be phones. Because how it came to be that people said cigarettes are bad for you and you should just not smoke around other people. Well, it's the same thing with phones. Like the use of cell phones is to the point now of people smoking cigarettes inside buildings and just like, it's disgusting. So like, it would be cool to get to a point where you're just not allowed to use the phone inside the building anymore. Like you can only use it outside, and even if you do it, people look at you like, "What are you doing?" Like the phone becomes something that you can use inside your own house, I guess. In your own house, just like you can smoke cigarettes in your own house if you want to, right? So it's basically the same cigarette rule, whereas, right, just phones become as bad as cigarettes. To the point where you can't smoke inside buildings or restaurants. You can't bring the phone inside the restaurant. You can't bring the phone inside the building, period. You have to leave it at the front. Yeah, man. Hey, man. I think the world would be amazing. In fact, I don't know, man. Yeah, because like if you're inside a building now, you would be forced to pay attention to the other people. There's no more just looking at the phone screen, or if you get uncomfortable, you start looking at the phone screen and escape into being a robotic being. If you're inside the building and you don't have a phone, then you're forced to interact with your reflections. Because it's a holodeck. What are you doing looking at the motherfucking phone? Like, you better have some fun. You know what I'm saying? Let's have some fun with these people. And do some magic or something. Yeah. That's why it's fun to be around enlightened beings and have conversations. Because, like, there is times where there's no phones. Of course, the phones can't be there. And I'm around enlightened beings, and there's no phones, and we're having conversations, and it's amazing. Like, magic is happening left and right, all types of stuff. It's just like everything. If I start telling the story, you wouldn't believe it, right? So that's amazing, and I think the only way to access that is to be fully aware that you're in a holodeck and you're interacting with your reflection right now. And you don't have a phone, you can't escape it, you can't get away. That's amazing, man. But that's the technology. I think that's the only technology that can get rid of phones. Is to say that, you realize you're in a holodeck, right? So what are you doing on the phone, dog? Like, I understand the phone as being necessary for business reasons, that type of communication, or short versions of important communication, like beepers. No. Yeah, so there is a use for the phone. Like, I use the phone for this, and I use it to communicate with guests and stuff like that. I use it bare minimum, I don't do, but I think society, her life is better without it, or with it as an option, not as the main thing, right? Because right now it seems like the phone is the main thing in people's lives, especially women. And that's another thing I said, like how I see how my kids are, like my sons, and basically all young people. I see the way young people operate, and it's way different than when I was young. When I was young, there wasn't any phones, right? So all my friends, we hugged a lot. We interacted with each other. We looked into each other's eyes. When we said funny things, and we hugged, and we were very physically connected, because there was no phones, right? Yeah, man. So like, young people nowadays, they can't have no relationship, especially with women and their phones, right? Phones are more important to women than anything else. And if you're gonna be like that, then how are you gonna have a relationship? Like how's that gonna work? It's just not gonna work, man. It's not gonna work, man. The only thing I want to tell you what save people. Well, accepting that it's a holodeck and I'm responsible, then that gets rid of the phone right now. Because like I'm not gonna be in the holodeck stuck on the motherfucking phone. Like I have options here, because the phone is just like a very small, right? And there's no world. The world doesn't exist anyway. So I think that deletes probably social media. I think just the idea of social media would probably it'll just be not a thing anymore, right? The phone becomes useful, but not for social media, not for entertainment. Like the real entertainment is either being by myself with whatever, like whatever, or with others who don't use phones. Yeah, doing things like picking pimento. Yeah, yeah. This word holodeck is impactful, man. I mean, that's a major, major, major upgrade, and that's why I turn on this thing, because I'm like, wait a minute, did she say holodeck? I'm like, wow. So this is real now. Like this is real. This the third time it happens, which is almost guaranteed. It's damn near guaranteed that my third time of hearing someone with influence use the word holodeck as if it's it's like take me seriously. Yeah, man. I mean, there's no turning back after that. Yo, I'm telling you, man. Being in the same room with an enlightened being is challenging. It's fun though. It's fun though, but it's quite challenging. Ah, man, but it's like amazing magic, yo. Cause like you think about it, it's like having a ball of energy that you're passing it around. You're passing it around from one person to the next. So like it's not even just being in a room with enlightened beings. It becomes a being in a reality with every being I encounter is an enlightened being, and they all can sense the ball of energy being passed around. It's like playing hot potato, actually, because negative energy goes somewhere. But if I'm interacting with all enlightened beings, that means none of them are willing to carry it for a long time, right? So because no one's willing to carry the ball of red or the ball of negative energy for a long time, they pass it around. Like, so I get it and I'll make a really crazy joke. And my crazy joke is so funny and so intense that I pass the ball to you, and now you have that shit. And I'm just gonna get away from you because you gotta figure out what to do. you gotta figure out what to do with that. And I need to get away from you before you say something or do something that passes the ball back to me. But this experience I'm talking about right now, it's been like 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago or maybe 15 years ago. Yeah, that I reached the height of light being experienced. I wanted to see how, the very heights of light being experienced, reality kind of like loses, it's kind of like reality runs out of resources. Interestingly, at the very height of my experience of being a light being is when Usain Bolt is the last time Usain Bolt made a world record. The last time he made a world record that hasn't been broken yet is the height of my light being experience. Whereas the most amazing experiences that I could reach, and you know what, it gets more amazing to the point of, yeah. Basically, I reached a point where I could go further, but if I went further, I would leave my family behind. So I said, okay, I'm not going to go any further. But I could go further with this, but I don't want to leave my family behind. So I went back to them, and that's like 15 years ago, right? 15 years ago. And so, it kind of feels like I went back to them And I'm here now again in a reality, whereas I don't think I'm gonna leave them behind, but it's possible, right? It's possible, and it's not that I'm leaving them behind; it's that they can't reach me, which is kind of what's going on right now, actually. Right? But I mean, that can change any day. That can change. So it's not like But man, I talked about how before it's kind of like the saying where things gonna get worse before they get better. I could see like right now the government shut down in TSA and there's long lines at the airport. I mean, and then there's World War this and World War that, and countries are closing their borders and you can't get a passport and all this stuff. So I'm like, it can get worse and worse to the point where it's damn near almost impossible to fly. Like if your passport's expired, you have to wait a year to get a new one. They could change the rules. So it's like things getting worse before they get better means you get to a point where you can't even, it's like damn near impossible to get on a plane and go somewhere, right? Because of whatever rules or regulations or the way the world is, basically. So it gets worse to the point where, even if it's not safe, but then where does it get better? It gets better where you can now go somewhere. You don't need a passport. You just walk. And I'm saying walking to the plane, but I'm like, why would there even be a plane? Like if I can travel, the world getting better means I can travel to somewhere and it's not a plane it's something like a plane, something like that. I mean, I guess it would start out with being like a plane, but eventually, it would be something else. Like I could travel somewhere and there's no airport, I'm just traveling somewhere. And there is physics involved, but for me to say it's a plane, I feel like planes are so ancient though, like they haven't been upgraded. Like that whole tech is just like so old. It's like saying, a plane to me seemed like, horse buggy. All right, so like, there's electric vehicles or whatever, and there used to be horse buggies. So what comes after airplane? Like there's got to be something to upgrade the airplane experience from horse buggy to something, like from horse buggy to car, from airplane to something else. And that's about things getting better. And that can happen within, I don't know how long actually. In fact, I shouldn't even put a time on that, because even the idea of time itself, by saying it's a holodeck and the only time is now, then time becomes irrelevant. Like, what? No, it's just the same day. It's just one day repeating itself. And there's moon cycles. Well, it's easy for me to say that here because I don't have any seasons really. It's pretty much the same day. It's pretty much the same day. There is a hurricane season and there's a winter, right? That's about it. Yeah, and there's summer. I mean, it gets hot, sure, but for the most part, it's the same. Like even during the summer, some summers are not that hot actually. Some summers are just like this right now. So I guess no, I can't say that for June and July. June and July is like for sure hot. It seems, like there's just like how January is the cold month. June is it's funny because January is the beginning and June is right in the middle, and I guess that's the cycle of the sun, right? That makes sense. Yeah, but I'm in the perfect place because that's my cycle. Like the hottest month is January, and the coldest month is January, and the hottest month is July. Perfectly spaced, And is it like that for everyone? I don't know. Not everyone. Yeah, so I guess location does matter, right? So there's going to be places where the whole idea of separating from time, right? It becomes difficult because if you have all these seasons to like keep you locked in to what month it is or what, all this stuff. I mean, to being a place, I guess that's why this is the main deck, right? This is the main deck because it's not hard to break free from the perception of time. If I'm just going to wake up every day and say, well, it's just another day, the same day repeating itself, and the only time is now. It's very easy to say that in a place that barely changes, barely changes. It's pretty much the same all the time as far as the weather goes. And so again, that makes it limited to Yeah, this is a place you gotta reach. You know, it's kind of like Elysium in a sense, or not Elysium, but there's a movie, In Time, In Time, where you had your time on your hand, and you had, and the really interesting thing about In Time, the thing I liked the most was for them to travel from the lower parts to the higher parts, where you had to pass through all these like turnstiles, like you know, like on a turnpike, and then when you pass through it, you got to pay time, and then you know, it's like, wow. If you live in a place where you can't, if it's damn near impossible for you to put the time away, the clock away, the watch away, because everyone around you is using it, everyone is concerned about what time it is, then you can't really break free because your reflection is caught up in it. So that means you can't break free from it. The only way to break free from it is go to an environment where no one cares about what time it is. Like this environment, basically, because none of my neighbors or anyone around me ever, no one will watch or even care about what time it is. It's like an insult, basically, to say something like that. Like, what time is it? Like, what? The time is now. Who are you? What? You just killed me, dog, by saying that shit. You just cut my throat about what time it is. The fuck you talking about what time it is? Who the fuck is you? Where you coming from? What the fuck? What's going on right now? Yeah, man, farmers, they only care about what the moon, they only care about if it's new moon, or that's the only time they care about, is if it's the moon. Because it's, you know, new moon is when you plant stuff, you know, full moon is when you plant stuff, you know, no moon is when you don't plant anything. That's the only thing that really matters, is the moon cycle. Which is a real thing. Like, the moon is a real thing in the sky that has a cycle, right? The clock or the watch, is that real? I mean, I can live without it. But to say that I can live without the sun is stupid. And I mean, I guess the moon doesn't have I mean, it's there. It doesn't have, well, I don't know. If it wasn't there, would I care? I mean, would I? I mean, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't matter, you know, if the moon's not there, because the moon's not always there. There's times where, you know, where things are cloudy, like if it's a rainy season, you can go many, many days and not see the moon, even though it's there, and it's just clouds because the clouds are covering it. And I mean, it doesn't, as far as me being affected by it in my life, but if the sun's not there, I'm like, yo, you know, well, this place runs on solar, so the moment the sun's gone for a couple of days, I'm gonna recognize that shit, because it's like, now my power's out. You know, my power's not out, but now I gotta pay for the power, like the power company and shit, because the solar doesn't charge. Well, it does charge. You know what? Even on cloudy days, the solar charges. So I would say this: there's enough solar for me alone, even with a cloudy day, because it does charge enough on a cloudy day for me alone. But if it's me and a whole bunch of other people, you know, or whatever, you know, no, it's not enough. Especially if those others aren't conscientious about the fact that it's solar. And I'm talking like now with guests, right? So if I have guests and they're on solar, but they don't really realize that they're on solar because it's not important for them to know that. I mean, if I tell them, it is still not important. It's important to me though, you know, because I'm the one that's paying the bill, as far as if the solar doesn't, you know, if the solar runs out, and then we got to switch to the power company. And then I have to be like, yo, I'm not trying to pay a big bill. So the sun being gone for a couple of days, and let's say there's guests here, then I'm like, yeah, I'm concerned. I'm like, come on, son, come back. You know, I mean, there's not enough power for everyone. There's enough power for me. So it's what's really cool, right? Like, I have enough solar here if it's just me. Like, I won't run out. There's just no, it's hard. It's hard for me to, even if it's not sunny for like 3 days, as long as there's light outside, which there is, you know, during the daytime, there's enough charge for me alone. For me to even use my AC at night. So that's dope, man. It's nice to know, basically. That's one thing I want to get a lot cheaper, is solar batteries, you know? Because, like, it seems like they're not getting cheaper for some reason. I mean, they're not getting more expensive, but, you know, I know that solar batteries, they last an X amount of time, But I said to myself, well, I can't afford that again. I mean, right now I can't afford it, and I would have to save for it. But I'm thinking, how about by the time I need batteries, it's so cheap that it's not a big deal. Like I would like that to be the truth. Like I guess I'm saying it now. That's what I'm seeing, right? Like, don't worry about it. I guess I'm being told by nature, hey, don't worry about that. By the time you need batteries, it's gonna be so cheap you won't care anymore. Everyone's gonna have it too. All my neighbors got, well, not all my, that neighbor has solar and that neighbor has solar, you know? So two of my neighbors have solar and they got it because I had it and they saw how useful it is, especially when a hurricane comes and you don't have no electricity for such a long time. But one neighbor has kids and, you know, they like, well, we gotta get solar because this ain't it as far as being power outage for weeks and shit. Yeah, so one neighbor has kids and my other neighbor has a girlfriend. So that's why they need solar. You know, it's not about themselves. It's like, I need solar because I'm trying to make myself comfortable. And that's why I have it, right? My neighbor has it because they have kids. So it's all about, you know, and my other neighbor has it because he has a girlfriend. That's wild. And then my neighbors who don't have those things, who don't have, yeah, I have other neighbors now who don't have solar, but they don't have any kids and they don't have any girlfriend. It's just men, farmers who live for themselves. And if their electricity goes out, they don't really care that much. They can live without it. I guess that's the same thing for me. I can live without it, you know, but I can also be more comfortable. See, because I'm all about being joyful. In fact, I did get to a point of being joyful without it. And then when I was getting it back, meaning that the solar didn't work and I was out of light for like a couple of weeks and I found a way to be joyful. And like, oh man, this is sweet. Life is so sweet without it. And da 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 da. And then when I got it back, I was like, oh man, it's over. All right, like, so now I have solar again. That means whatever I was just experiencing, the 2 weeks without electricity that I just experienced, and whereas I got to a point of feeling really good, like, oh man, this is amazing. And then the solar starts working again. It's like, oh, that amazing thing just left. Because like, once it starts working, then it's like a different, you know, it's life is different now. Like, you're not gonna, that's gone. Whatever that was that I was experiencing with no electricity for 2 weeks and being joyful, that's gone. It is a different, and I would say, quote unquote, higher frequency, right? And the reason is because having electricity means the computer screen and the phone works and the internet works. And the fact that the internet works is why having electricity is the big difference between having electricity and not having electricity. Is the fact that the media, like the phone and the computer and the internet, access to the internet is what makes electricity so different than no electricity. Because with no electricity, that goes away. And then it's an amazing day. Like all this stuff, just like bam, bam, bam. Just magic overflowing. And it's like, wow, whoa, this is fucking great. And then the electricity comes, and then the solar comes back. You know, it's like, okay, wow, that was, whatever that was, it was amazing. But let me get on the internet now. And then go back to the internet. You know, it's like, that's a different life. But, you know, that's where all the people are, right? And, you know, I haven't left them behind. I guess I shouldn't leave them behind. But yeah, having no electricity is like leaving, because you don't have the internet no more, you leave everyone behind. Like the people don't exist anymore, you know? It's just whoever is here with me right now. And that ain't nobody. That's like the same motherfuckers. So it's not like, it's like people don't exist anymore. to sleep. This is a long stream. I'm not even gonna watch this. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Maybe I'll get something. I haven't watched myself talk in a while.